This is Thomas van der Plaetsen. Aged 25, the Belgian decathlete has already encountered a lot in his life. Over the past couple of years, he's been labelled a drugs cheat. He's beaten cancer and he's become a European champion. His remarkable story begins in 2002, the year in which he took up athletics at this track in his hometown of Decathlete, northern Belgium.
It wasn't really my first choice as a sport. I started doing the high jump, and it was really by coincidence that I got into the decathlon. A friend of mine said I should try it. Decathlon is a really addictive discipline. With so many events, there's always something you can improve.
Thomas comes from a family of 7 children, and almost all of them were involved in athletics from an early age. Thomas is coached by his older brother, Michael, and his sister, Jelena, is his agent. The family are extremely close and regularly meet up at their mother's home.
Family is something very important to me. The most powerful thing about family is the fact that the support and friendship and the love you receive from them is unconditional. We've all come together in sport. My brother coaches me and my sister is my manager. So I've been lucky to grow up with a great family.
With his family's backing, Thomas made his breakthrough in athletics, winning a European junior title and a bronze at the World Indoor Championships. But on the 24th of September 2014, his fledgling career was brought to an abrupt halt.
This letter states that you've tested positive for human chorionic gonadotropin hormone. You are suspended from entering any competitions for this doping offence. Until there's a decision from a disciplinary committee, the ban will not be lifted.
Thomas received a letter from Belgium's anti-doping committee telling him that he'd failed a drugs test. Within hours of receiving the letter, his face was plastered across the front pages of the national press with the words cheat and doper. However, he was adamant that he'd never taken any banned substances. Thomas and his family had to fend off several disparaging accusations from journalists whilst they privately set about finding an explanation for the failed drugs test.
This was really difficult because I know what kind of an impact a letter like that can have on an athlete's life. And obviously, in this case, he was my brother.
It felt like my career was over. I was angry and disillusioned.
We had no information, and everything happened quickly. The media jumped on this.
I knew that I was innocent, so it was like a tragic comedy, seeing how the news story spread and how people reacted.
Less than 24 hours after being accused, Thomas visited the Maria Middelaris hospital to find out why his HCG hormone levels were so high. It was there that he was told the news, which proved his innocence. He had testicular cancer. The family had lost Thomas's father to pancreatic cancer little more than 3 years earlier.
It's difficult to hear that word, cancer, and we had to confront it again.
I have to say, I didn't deal with it initially. At the time, so much came my way, and I felt like I was in the eye of the storm.
Seeing your brother very healthy one day, and then placed into a situation where he's very sick the next, is very hard to put into perspective.
It's bizarre how quickly your body degrades.
We did everything we could to support him as much as possible.
Thomas was sent for emergency surgery to remove a tumour before starting regular sessions of chemotherapy. The treatment caused Thomas to lose his hair and become very tired. But even when he was wired to a drip, he was determined to do some form of exercise, as much for morale as to retain a base level of fitness.
Even during my treatment, I did some training. Well, I say training, it was more just exercise. Sport has always had a very important role in my life. I feel good doing it, and for me, it's a way to express myself and channel my emotions. Sport plays a huge role in my life, so that never really stopped.
Thomas completed his course of chemotherapy at the end of November 2014 and immediately set about engineering his comeback. Training under the tutelage of his brother Michael, he began to regain his fitness. However, nobody could have imagined quite how sensational a return he would make to the sport. Little more than 10 months after being diagnosed, Thomas won gold at the 2015 Summer Universiade in South Korea. But it was at this year's European Championships in Amsterdam where he made an emphatic statement. In the decathlon, he finished first in the long jump, high jump and pole vault events, en route to the gold medal.
The European title was very unexpected, but it was a wonderful reward for all the hard work. The journey I've made since the chemo has been a very long one, and since then there have been so many challenges, which made it difficult for me to get back to the top level. I've always fought hard, and I think that was a big victory for me. The fact that I really went for it and was rewarded with the European title was very humbling.
Thomas went on to register a personal best at his debut Olympics in Rio, finishing in 8th place. He subsequently becomes something of a hero back home in Belgium, not least to cancer sufferers and survivors. He set up the Back to the Track Foundation, which raises money towards counselling and rehabilitation programs for those affected by cancer.
During my rehabilitation, the support I received from the people around me was really important, and I hope that via my charity I can offer that little boost to others too. On the one hand, it's nice that I can use my story to inspire people, but we are also trying to set up specific projects which provide support to people.
Besides occupying himself with his foundation, Thomas loves travelling. He regularly trains in South Africa and has ventured all over the globe, both for competition and pleasure. He's taken up photography to capture some of his travels.
This is one of my favourite photos. After my treatment, I became more impulsive. I'd wanted to go to Georgia for a while, so I just did it. This was one of the most spectacular views I captured of that fantastic country. It was so beautiful. Perfect morning, perfect light. It was unbelievable. This is another photo which I think is really awesome. Last year I went to Norway because my girlfriend's from there. I put the tripod here behind us, set the timer and quickly walked down. It's one of the most beautiful landscapes I've ever seen.
Het is een van de mooiste landschappen dat ik in mijn leven ooit heb gezien. Ik vind het idee.
I think the concept of photography is exciting because you're forced to look through the lens and see the world in a different way than usual. I've been taking photos for many years now, and it's my passion.
The trials and tribulations Thomas has encountered in his life have given him a new outlook. But he's still as fiercely competitive as ever. He's working towards the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, where he's hopeful of another big result.
At the moment, he is back to the level he was before he was diagnosed with cancer. And I believe this might be the platform to even better results.
I really have the feeling that physically I'm back. I've learned a lot following my treatment, and now I just need more time to regain my strength.
Obviously, for us, it is a priority that he also leads a healthy life for the rest of his life.
I see the future very positively, and we'll see what happens. But I've no doubts that it'll be an exciting adventure.